Good morning, students. In the previous class, we had analyzed the first stanza of Sonnet 130 by William Shakespeare. In the first stanza, it's a poet. He mainly goes on talking or goes on explaining his mistress, his lover. She lacks most of the beautiful qualities, most of the beautiful features of a beautiful girl. For example, his lover's eyes, they are not as bright, as shining as the sun, and her lips, they are not so red as coral, and her breast, they are not so white as snow. Though her hair, it is just like some black wires grow on her head. That means in the very first stanza, the speaker mainly says his lover, she lacks the beautiful features of a beautiful girl. And it seems that is when we read first three stanzas, in the first three stanzas he explains or just goes on speaking the same thing. His lover, his what we say mistress, she lacks all the beautiful qualities, beautiful features of a beautiful girl. One has to feel he is not in favor of his lover. He is not at all happy with his lover, mainly because he continues same explanation even in the second stanza. I have seen roses damasked red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. So even in the second stanza, the speaker continues the same thing. That in the second stanza he says she lacks most of the beautiful features. I have seen roses damasked red and white. Damask means having a mixed color. A rose with red, white, that is almost pink. A rose with a pink color. So I have seen roses damasked red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. Here the poet, the speaker mainly says he cannot see the roses or the color of roses in her cheeks. Color of roses means pink. So whenever a girl shies, her her cheeks become very red or her cheeks become very pink in her shyness. But here the speaker mainly says his lover, whether she becomes shy or whatever, but since she is a black lady, since she is a dark lady, her cheeks, they do lack the color of roses, they do lack the color of pink or red and white. She has a very ordinary cheeks, they are not so beautiful as the color of red, color of roses. So there also her cheeks also lack the very beauty of roses. And next, and in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. And whenever she breathes, the some unpleasant smell comes out from the breath of his lover. The perfume scent, it has a very more pleasant smell. Smells very delightfully. But here whenever his lover she speaks or whenever she breathes, some unpleasant smell, reek means unpleasant smell, some unpleasant smell comes out. So that is also not the quality of a beautiful girl. Even in the second stanza, the speaker mainly says his lover, she lacks once again most of the features of a beautiful girl. In the third stanza also continues the same thing. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go, my mistress when she walks treads on the ground. Here that is I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath old English has, that music has a far more pleasing sound. Here the speaker, he wants to listen her voice. He wants to always to know, to get her sound. But he mainly says, whenever she speaks, once again there isn't any melody, there isn't any sweetness in her voice, in her sound. And the music, that is whenever we play some instrument, there is such a music, there is such a melody, there is such a sweet sound comes out. But whenever his mistress or whenever his lover she speaks, that is that beautiful sound, that melody doesn't come out whenever she utters something, whenever she speaks something. That is, in her sound, in her voice, there isn't any beauty, there isn't any melody. Her voice, her sound, whenever she speaks, it hasn't any pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go, my mistress when she walks treads on the ground. And here one more thing, I grant I never saw a goddess. Most of the time the lovers, they do compare their lovers, most of the time the people, they do compare their lovers to the goddess or to the angels. Yes, my lover is like an angel, my lover is so beautiful, just like a goddess. So even in Kannada, when we take the example of Kannada, since it is very familiar for us, ಸೊ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ವ, ನನ್ನ ಲವರ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ದೇವಲೋಕದ ಅಪ್ಸರೆ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ರಂಬೆ ಥರ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದ ಪೋಯಟ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಹಿ ಸೇಸ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಲವರ್ ಶಿ ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ lady or the goddess. She is not as cute, as beautiful as the angel. She is a very ordinary girl. So whenever she walks, the poet or the speaker feels a very ordinary lady is walking. He doesn't feel some that is extraordinary creature, some angel, some goddess is walking, but his lover, she is a very ordinary girl, just like down to earth, a very ordinary girl. So here the poet, he doesn't, or the speaker, he doesn't want to use any exaggeration, he doesn't want to use any exclamation or something, he doesn't want to exaggerate anything. So for him, she is a very ordinary girl, he doesn't want to say she's extraordinary. And one more thing, most of the time, to impress the lover, the man, he mainly wants to use some exaggeration. My lover is like, she has such a beauty, she is like this, like she is like that. Here the poet, he doesn't want to impress her by using the false images or by using the false examples. For him, she is a very ordinary girl. So he only says she is not an extraordinary girl. She is a very simple girl, a very ordinary girl with ordinary eyes, lips, black hair, dull cheek, ordinary sound. He doesn't want to exaggerate anything. So he says, whenever she walks, he feels some ordinary lady is walking, nothing special. It's very common. So thus in the first three stanzas, the poet or the speaker goes on talking about the features which are lacking in his lover. One has to feel he is not at all happy with his lover, he is not at all in favor of his lover. He just goes on, he condemns mainly the qualities of his lover. One has to feel he is almost against his lover, or almost he mainly, maybe he may hate his, maybe he is hating his lover. One has to feel he is not at all happy with his lover. But as already told, the last two lines, what we call in Shakespearean sonnet couplet, this couplet plays very important role. And whatever the poet Shakespeare has told in the previous 3 stanzas or first 12 stanzas, complete opposite, complete contrast idea to be given, to be explained in the couplet. So in the first three stanza, he mainly goes on talking, yes, she lacks this and that, she lacks all the beautiful features of a beautiful girl. But in the last stanza, that is a couplet, he mainly says, and yet by heaven I think my love as rare as any she belied with a false compare. Here belied means misrepresented, false compare means unbelievable comparison. So yet by heaven's sake, or he says, he promises his lover is something special, unique, rare. Though she is a very ordinary girl, a very simple girl, lacks all the beauties, beautiful features of a beautiful girl, for him she is something extraordinary, something rare, something special, unique. And just to impress her, the poet, he says he doesn't want to use any false comparison. He doesn't want to use any unbelievable comparison. He is ready to accept the girl as she is. That is, for him, though she is a very ordinary girl, he doesn't want to use any false comparison just to impress her. Here, this poem indicates the true love of a speaker or the poet. And she's a very ordinary girl still, and she lacks all the beautiful features. Still, for him, she is something rare, something special, unique, mainly because what has impressed him, that is mainly her real nature, her humanity, her real qualities. Only those things, internal beauty becomes very important. Here, through this poem, the poet or the speaker, he wants to convey a very beautiful message. External beauty should not be given much importance. External beauty, it will be with us only for a short period. It is not a permanent one. So our external beauty, it fades, it decays as we become old, as with the passing of the time. But internal beauty, it becomes more strong. It enjoys every maturity with the passing of the time. So internal beauty, it will be with us forever. Internal beauty should be given much importance rather than external beauty. Thus here the poet, mainly he wants to convey that beautiful message. And to impress anyone, we shouldn't use any false comparison. Always we have to be true to our nature, and the true love to be given much importance. Okay, thank you.